All right, welcome everyone. We are going to cover a really great topic today. This is the session of Unleashing Data and AI, how Salesforce is transforming customer experience and personalization. Today we have two really great panelists from Google Cloud and from Salesforce. So I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, my name is Narinder Singh. I am VP of Product for Salesforce Data Cloud. Happy to be here. I've been in the enterprise software space for the last 20 plus years, and my focus area is around big data, analytics, AI, and specifically building applications for CRM domain. And I'm happy to be here and joined by Seth here.
Everyone, hi, I'm Seth Siciliano. I work in the Google Cloud Alliance organization. I've been here for about 14 years at Google Cloud, before it was actually called Google Cloud, I should say, but always in the customer and partner-facing roles. Today, I run the Salesforce Alliance relationship for us. So I'm very much passionately focused on working together with our external partners and looking for ways to bring enhanced customer value to the market. And so thank you so much for coming today. Hope you guys find some good value out of this session and look forward to it.
So we're going to start with Narinder, who's going to give us a really great update on all the work and innovation that we're doing right now with Salesforce.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
We have to skip a few slides.
Okay, let's get to the
There you go.
first slide. Okay, thanks. So as part of Salesforce Data Cloud, right, it's an integral part of Customer 360 platform, which gives you an ability to build a unified Customer 360 at hyperscale with which you can combine your Salesforce data and external data all into one unified view to power our Customer 360 applications, which we provide to the market through a Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud. It's a way for you to drive a consistent, cohesive, intelligent experience backed by the data put in our Customer 360 platform. Now, as part of that story, we have a lot of data as part of our CRM applications, which is created within the Salesforce ecosystem. But as we work with large enterprise customers, there's a lot of data beyond the Salesforce ecosystem as well, sitting with platforms like Google Platform. Last year, we announced partnership with Snowflake, especially for that very reason. And now we're extending that partnership with Google so that we can get you an easy way in which you can then extend the full Customer 360 capabilities with data, which is now also sitting in the Google ecosystem. And this is the joint innovation that we are delivering to the market around three key pillars. It's about data integration. It's a modern way of data integration. It's about how you can get more value out of your AI investments you have done with the Google platform, as well as being able to seamlessly activate the data, not only within the Customer 360 and our applications, but also over to the channels and the services and the analytics capabilities that you have within the Google platform. What is the whole value? It's all about so that we can help you get more richer insights, can get you to act on your data faster with more timely and richer insights, as well as being able to help you drive more meaningful business outcomes through the activation of the data with all of the unified data that's sitting also in Salesforce ecosystem, as well as what you have within your Google Cloud platform. Now, what are the key innovations we're delivering as part of this partnership? There are two parts to it. The first part is what we call bring your own lake with zero ETL sharing. So this is the zero ETL data sharing innovation that we're delivering with BigQuery. And what it provides is a modern way in which you can integrate the data. You can unify the data sitting in Google platform within Google BigQuery. It's a bi-directional integration. So all of your data sitting within Google BigQuery without any zero ETL. You can connect that into Data Cloud to build richer Customer 360. At the same time, you can take all of the data sitting within the Salesforce ecosystem and seamlessly share it into the Google Cloud for you to be able to do any kind of analytics and activation use cases within the power of the Google Cloud services. And the next key capability we're delivering is bring your own AI. Again, this is part of our vision here, how we become open and extensible. And with that capability, we give you an ability to bring your own custom models built with Google Vertex as your choice of AI platform and seamlessly activate those models to make inferences with Sales Data Cloud so that then you can drive that, use them for driving richer insights, hyper-personalization, and decisioning within the Customer 360 applications. Now, why are we doing this, right? We are at this interesting point, right, with respect to the macroeconomic environment that we're facing, that businesses are all needing to do more, right? And there are key ways in which they're trying to achieve this with their existing investments, right? They have existing data sitting within different platforms. They need a way in which they can unify that. With that, they can get a lot of savings with respect to the IT spends. This is the leading research that indicates like unified data saves like 60% of the IT investments, because IT tends to invest a lot of time going into building these data integration, ETL pipelines, maintaining them. And AI is helping to reduce costs because that helps to drive more of automation, which increases productivity as a result. But the key thing that is at the heart of it is having the connected data as a way for you to power more smarter AI, more intelligent AI to drive more automation. So how do we get to that? But at the same time, we are having more data than ever being created through multiple channels, through multiple applications, web applications, mobile applications. They all have separate identity. You have your loyalty data, you have your product purchase data, you have your health and fitness data, you have your engagement data, and you have service and support data. All of this data is more data getting created than ever. And the kind of data that is left by as a digital footprint by the customers is growing by volume every year and at a faster clip than ever. So that introduces a significant complexity in terms of being able to manage that. And ITs today tend to spend a significant amount of time in just being able to integrate and manage these integrations, moving data from one use case to another use case, could be analytics use case, could be a recommendation use case, could be a BI use case, and being able to then put that together into the line of business application to be able to drive that last mile interaction, which is personalized. And we want to be able to give you a solution which you don't need to do that, and you get a modern capability through which you are able to personalize this. Now, customer experiences at the same time, there's a rising expectation from the customer side of the house that their intent and their preferences are known. And customers are given a hyper-personalized experiences in terms of what product, service, or that is going to best fit their need. So you have a moment in time that you understand their intent, make the right product recommendation, or give them a right solution in terms of what product that they have bought in the past, which is going to serve or address their customer issue. But customers right now have, as part of our study, found well over hundreds of applications, close to 1,000 applications through which they are capturing all of their customer data. Now, customers with all of this data and growing amount of data, they need a platform with which they can combine all of the data. They can bring it in. They can bring it in real time, at scale, to be able to meet the customer's expectation of having those as personalized real-time interactions, which are driven at scale. So how do you do that personalization? And that's why we invested in building Salesforce Data Cloud. This is the hyperscale customer platform that we provide as part of our Customer 360, with which now you can connect all of your enterprise data, the data that you sit within Salesforce ecosystem and Salesforce beyond Salesforce ecosystem, with which you can now ingest the data, you can even connect to the data, you can then harmonize the data into a shape and a schema that abstracts you away in terms of what that data comes from a particular source into a canonical representation, with which then you can get a unified profile with a full customer 360-degree view, on top of which then you can drive all of your customer 360 applications for engagement with the power of analytics, AI, and what we call data actions being built into our data platform. And what does AI help here? With a richer customer 360-degree view, your AI gets smarter, your AI gets better. With the power of the activation and analytics, you are able to then understand the full customer journey in terms of how they are buying, what they're buying, where they're buying, what kind of service issues are they facing. And with the data actions, you are able to act on that data in real time to drive your processes and orchestration within the customer 360 in terms of any kind of employee-facing engagement, where you've seen that a certain lead or an opportunity needs to be now handed over to a particular employee who needs to engage with the customer, or there's a certain support issue that needs to be escalated, or a customer coming to a self-service portal needs to search for a certain issue. You want to be able to make them relevant recommendations there. And the third pillar is about Data Cloud is all about being open and extensible. Being open and extensible, we truly recognize how we want to be able to connect to data which sits beyond the boundary of the Salesforce, being able to connect to data sitting within Google platform with capabilities of bring your own warehouse or bring your own lake and bring your own model. And that is the key premise with which we ship Salesforce Data Cloud as kind of the intelligent heart of the customer engagement. And specifically with Google BigQuery, you get these capabilities to create a single view with the unified data with zero ETL approach. What it provides you, it gives you a bi-directional capability with which now you can seamlessly share data between the two systems, between Salesforce Data Cloud and Google BigQuery. You can create much richer profiles with the data sitting in your BigQuery data warehouse. Imagine your billing data or your web engagement data or your loyalty data sitting in there. You can simply connect to that data and build a richer customer profile, and that data is accessed in like a near real life kind of connectivity in real time to build those richer insights as part of your customer 360 view, and vice versa. With the data and the richer unified customer profiles built in the Salesforce Data Cloud, the same unified profile with all of the data in terms of their sales engagements, service engagements, web engagements is available as part of Google BigQuery to be able to share with the broader set of analytics services through which now you can drive more meaningful analytics, AI, and any kind of activation driven through the Google platform using that integration. And at the end of the day, it helps you to reduce your operational cost, and it gives you a way in which you can reduce the infrastructure needs, which goes in terms of doing the traditional ETL integrations and the latency that comes as a process. And this feature is going to go pilot with the upcoming October release, and we'll be GAing it early next year in the February month. Now, how it works underneath is Data Cloud has these capabilities in terms of ingestion and connecting to the data. So we offer both modalities through which you can bring the data in batch and in streaming fashion in real time within Salesforce Data Cloud. On top of that, we have added a capability with Bring Your Own Warehouse to connect directly to BigQuery tables and create them as live external tables. And all of that data then gets harmonized into a canonical shape using the data model within Salesforce Data Cloud. Next, all of the data that comes from different data sources with disparate identities gets unified into a unified customer profile. And once you have built that unified customer profile with its full data graph with all the customer data surrounding that unified identity, you are able to then do analytics and AI on top of it. And these analytics could be in the form of you want to be able to create a 360-degree view with a specific propensity prediction using the Einstein capabilities in the Salesforce Data Cloud, or you want to be able to target a cohort of customers through a segment in terms of a certain set of customers who are interested in purchasing a certain product in a certain region for a certain period of time. Those kind of segments and cohorts you can drive and create those out of Salesforce Data Cloud, or you can use it for BI with the power of the Tableau, being able to do full reporting and visualization on top of it. And you can act on all of this data. As the data is coming in, as these insights are getting created, this data can be acted on within the Customer 360 platform by creating business flows, by creating your marketing journeys, and also you can create external kind of integrations through the power of data actions, which can act as the data is coming in or as the insight is happening within our system at the level of a single customer and a single profile. They browse the web, they browse a particular product page a certain number of times, or they have a certain propensity to buy a certain product because that's an AI recommendation that we have from our system. All of these can be triggered as actions to orchestrate the downstream processes. And the third capability now you get with this partnership is what we call the data sharing. With data sharing, all of the data that is within the Salesforce Data Cloud can now be connected and shared without doing any ETL directly with the Google BigQuery, where these objects that exist as data within Salesforce Data Cloud will be now available as native objects. Now, with Einstein Studio built on the Data Cloud, we have full capability to be able to do the point-and-click based Einstein models through propensity recommendations. At the same time, with the Bring Your Own Model approach with Vertex, now we have the ability for you to build your custom expert models built with the power of the zero ETL data sharing that you can deploy, train, and deploy in Vertex, and then you can register them in Data Cloud to make inferences. And with this feature, it gives you a way in which now you can seamlessly train your models with the data sitting in the Salesforce Data Cloud. You can operationalize them within Google Vertex and use them then to make inferences to provide richer decisioning and personalization as part of your Customer 360 platform, which can be used across all of your applications. And this feature is going to go GA in October as well. Now, In terms of the use cases, as we've been talking to a lot of customers, we have significant amount of use cases that we are talking to these customers across all the verticals, whether it's CPG and retail, where they want to be able to combine their CRM data, they want to be able to combine their advertising data to be able to understand their cohorts of segments, to be able to achieve better results in terms of the targeting for their campaigns and conversions and optimize their ad spend. Same thing happening with a lot of telco customers we're talking who have a lot of billing and usage data sitting in Google Cloud that they want to be able to use to be able to drive targeted promotions, cross-sell, upsell opportunities, as well as in FinServe sector, as we're talking to these customers, they have a lot of their financial transaction data combined with their CRM data. They want to be able to use that for identifying opportunities tied to how they want to be able to optimize their cash, their spend, or their financial promotions. Now, underneath, we have how this works is that we have built a zero ATL architecture based on a storage level federation. For sharing data from Data Cloud to BigQuery, underneath we have our tables created in an open storage format, which gets shared with BigQuery. And once you are in BigQuery, you receive an incoming share as part of your Analytics Studio to accept it, and that creates a data set. And that data set can then becomes visible for you to run your joint queries seamlessly as part of your BigQuery and console. And that can also run the queries which can be joining BigQuery data with Salesforce data, and you're able to then get the combined insights. And with respect to the reverse part, which is about how do you bring BigQuery data into Salesforce Data Cloud, the tables that exist in BigQuery can be mounted as external objects seamlessly within Salesforce Data Cloud, which can then be used to augment the customer 360 data model. Imagine you have your billing data, your usage data. Those can be mounted as objects within our systems, and they become part of the customer 360 data graph, on top of which all of our processes in terms of insights, profiles, segments, and activations can seamlessly run to give you that full experience end-to-end in terms of the capabilities of the Customer 360 platform. And with that, I've given you a quick overview in terms of what that capability is and what it provides. And with that, I'll hand it over to Kat to talk about our next set of questions she has in mind. Yeah.
Sure. So I thought we could take a little bit of time to sort of deep dive a little bit more now that you have a little bit of context, a big overview of what we're doing together. And kind of reiterate maybe some of the themes that you shared with us already, Narinder. So there's definitely been a lot of news, and there's going to be more news coming as to what both of our companies are doing. And one thing I would love to get your thoughts is around this great momentum that's starting to build, and what kind of value is it starting to really unlock for our customers?
Yeah, so like I said, talking back to the use cases we're hearing from our customers, it's all about, as we've been talking to these customers, right, there are two things that they're trying to see. They have existing investments in Google platform where they have a lot of customer data that is sitting there, and they're looking at ways in which they can connect to the data, at the same time get the value out of the data. So a telco customer, like I said, who's have their billing data and their usage data, like typically a lot of call volume log data sits in there, which they want to be able to use as a way to understand what kind of promotions are more suited to drive these customers. So it's all about having them ability to build this 360-degree view with this data and insights. Imagine you have an insights for a churn prediction as well, sitting with the Google platform through the Vertex platform they've built. They are able to seamlessly access that as well. And all of these abilities can then be used to enrich the customer 360, based on which then they can be powering an email campaign, a marketing campaign, or they could be powering a customer experience in terms of a promotional offer that they want to be able to show to the customer when they log in into their self-service portal. So it's all about how these customers can make it really easy, get to their investment, integrate the data, and being able to then get the full mileage in terms of taking that experience to deliver the last mile in terms of the 360 with the experience that we have. Yeah.
Seth?
Yeah, I was adding on to what Narinder mentioned. Google and Salesforce have been partners probably since 2017 officially, but really the acceleration of our partnership has just picked up amazing steam and momentum over the last year. And it's really centered around these types of solutions. They're anchored in two core areas of data and AI. Narinder talked about investment, and we think about that at Google Cloud a lot of the same way. We look at our joint customers, and we say for a lot of years, Salesforce and Google have shown up in different rooms at different times to the same customer saying slightly aligned but slightly misaligned stories and pitches and value propositions to those customers. And those customers have in turn made significant investments. I like the word Narinder used, investments. They made significant investments in time, technology, energy, and quite frankly, financial investments in both stacks. And so one of the things that we at Google Cloud are really excited about is this partnership and this momentum over 2023 for us is really about tying those investments together that they've made in Salesforce, that our customers have made in Google, and trying to drive more out of that investment for those customers, trying to give them more value out of what they've placed and trust in Google and Salesforce, and ensure that whether it's a 360 view, whether it's increased analytics platforms within BigQuery, or the 360 view for a marketing campaign within Salesforce, we want those customers to get more value out of those investments. And we're really anchored on providing those value opportunities to our customers in everything we're doing moving forward.
So I know that we've been talking a lot about data, customer data really being fundamental, important. Now with AI, that's becoming even more crucial. And so would love to get your thoughts on how are these technologies really improving the notion around customer experience, what that means.
Yeah, so at the heart of it, right, the first problem we are trying to solve is kind of what we call data unification and making it really easy to unify the data. And why we are doing this is the more data you have, the better you understand and know your customers, right? That's the first premise with which we are starting. And that's where we want to extend the reach out in terms of all places where the customer data can live. And at the same time, make it easy and simple. And second premise is that once you have more data, and a unified customer profile around which you understand the full customer journey and the customer life cycle, now you can do much better AI on top of it, right? That's the next step with which we make AI more smarter, we make AI more efficient, and this is a continuous thing that keeps on happening, right? This is not happening one time. As things are changing, and data is changing on the Google side, data is changing on the Salesforce side, this is continuously kind of enriching and updating that customer profile. And along with that, continuously AI is making inferences. That's the other big part of this integration, that this AI, as it is integrated with bring your own model, this inferencing is continuously happening as the data is changing and continuously enriching the profile further. And as you're doing that, the downstream, what we call the activation and the actioning that is happening on top of it within all of our applications across full customer 360 suite, that's what is driving even better engagement. And on top of those, we are trying to build more and more intelligent out-of-the-box experiences with which we can light up this value out of the box for our customers.
Yeah, and I'm always amazed at the amount of companies that now label themselves and refer to themselves as data companies. Most companies, whether it's financial services, healthcare, retail, CPG, supply chain, so many of these companies now identify themselves first and foremost as a data company. And so as Narinder is talking about breaking that data unification strategy, that becomes kind of the table stake of transforming yourself into a data company. And so historically, the different data silos, whether it's in Salesforce or Google or some other environment for a company, those data silos have created just exponentially wasteful work in terms of pushing and pulling that data from one platform to another, trying to put it in a place to be able to extract insight and value out of that for a company. And so a lot of what we're seeing and a lot of what we're anchored on is that data unification strategy. We're moving those obstacles to data access that customers have traditionally faced, breaking down those silos and making it accessible, making one system feel like the data is from another system is right there, and vice versa. And that's kind of what's been most important about everything we've done with Salesforce. We mentioned it really quickly, but the phrase bidirectionality is really a key phrase to A, what we're building together as partners, but B, driving that value of data unification for our customers.
So that we deep dive a little bit more on the use cases. I know, Narinder, you had mentioned a few kind of industry illustrations, if you will, in the initial overview. But now that you've been starting to talk to more customers, I know we're starting to pilot a lot of these innovations. Curious to hear a little bit more about what are you hearing from customers? What's really coming up in these discussions?
Yeah, so as we're talking to customers, surprisingly, right, there's a large spectrum of customers across these verticals, and that's also in a way related to the fact that now Google Cloud is becoming more and more pervasive, where customers are invested in terms of as a data platform, which is good news for Google, of course, right? If I look at it, right, I have customers who are spanning across, CPG and retail, telco, healthcare, financial services, ed tech, just to name it, right? So that's a testimonial that we are investing this for the right reasons, because our customers are there and they are asking us to solve this problem in which they can then get more value out of the combined investments that they have made, right? So specifically in retail, Google Cloud has a lot of footprint with some of large retailers. They have a lot of data coming, especially on the marketing side and the ad tech side. Marketing side coming from Salesforce side, and advertising data coming from the Google side. And they are able to then combine it with service data and support data coming from the Salesforce side, being able to then devise better campaigns, more targeted campaigns, and being able to then optimize their ad spend. At the same time, they're able to then understand the conversions and the returns that they're getting, full end-to-end story. And that is a great value add in terms of when they think about those use cases, they love it. And the same thing, like I said, talk about healthcare, right? We're talking to a few of the healthcare providers. They have a lot of patient engagement and encounter data sitting with Google Cloud, and they want to be able to use that data to be able to connect with our customer 360 and our health and life sciences offering, through which then they can put them through tailored journeys in terms of how they can guide them in terms of certain lifestyle diseases, right? In terms of how they can monitor them in terms of their health scores, and being able to then put them through certain care plans. So those are just two examples, but it's the same thing for financial services as well. We're talking to a lot of fintech companies who have a lot of their financial transactional data that they're using, and they want to be able to connect to that to be able to power more of cross-sell kind of opportunities, the promotions that they want to be able to drive through Customer 360.
I think one of the amazing things is no matter how much we try to control what industries and what types of customers and use cases we go after, the customers are really demanding from Salesforce and Google a variety of them. They're kind of teaching us every day. So Narinder touched on a few, but one of the amazing things that I've seen since we launched this partnership publicly in June and these solutions is that there is no limit to the use cases and verticals that this applies to. And it's been across everything from healthcare to CPG to financial services we have every industry represented in our process right now that we're working with and talking to. So this is a question that I think the answer changes as fast as it's asked, because the customers are demanding, and the thing I've heard more than anything else when I talk to customers about this is, we've been looking this forever. We've been looking for this forever, and so they're just happy we're providing it at this point.
So I think everyone could definitely agree with the fact that there is huge value between data and using AI. And I think the big burning question probably on everyone's mind is, how do we get started? And are there sort of key strategies or tips that you can share with starting this journey?
Yeah, so as part of this process, of course, right, the first thing is that you have to try out these features, right? This is the base of the things, right? You start with that. And of course, for our joint customers, right, who are invested on the Google side, as well as who are invested on the Salesforce side, our first recommendation is always start with a specific use case in mind, right? Start with a use case, start with what data is relevant for that use case, start with that as your first set of test criteria through which you want to be able to grow and see the success come through end to end, and the efficiencies that come along the way as a result of doing that, right? That is how we always want to recommend you start from there, grow from there, and you will quickly learn it's very easy to be able to build the next set of use case, because unifying data is so much easier. It's in our mind, we have turned it into a simple point and a click and a configure and an extend experience with which adding more data is very simple and easy. And for you, if you have built your existing machine learning models, right, it's again very easy for you to then bring them into the fold with the same data or add more data to it and make it even better, and then being able to plug them back into the whole cycle. So that's my recommendation. Start with the use case, start with the data surrounding a use case, see the value, see the efficiency you get from it end to end, and keep augmenting that over time, and you will see that that kind of clearly grows on you in terms of the value that it delivers for you.
Yeah, I mean, start small. don't boil the ocean. Talk to your team at Salesforce and Google, and they're more than happy to engage and help walk you through the journey testing these features out. But I agree wholeheartedly with Narinder. You have to start with a specific use case, understand that use case, that data, and that outcome, validate that, test that, confirm that, and then you can go scale from there.
I think the last question we're going to end on is, we know AI is moving very, very fast. Actually, it's changing pretty much every day. And looking at this area of marrying AI and data, what are your thoughts around the big trends that you're seeing? Any predictions that you see maybe from now until the next 12 months? Love to get your final thoughts on that.
Yeah, so AI is definitely moving at a lightning pace, right? With all the things happening, especially in the generative AI space, and how ChatGPT has practically disrupted, everybody in terms of thinking how they want to think about engaging with their customers, or even internally within the organization as well. So the way I see it is that there are two key plumbings to it, right? One is the data. The data is growing, but at the same time, we are giving you tools and technologies with which now you can deal with more data easily, and you're able to also, connect the data together into understanding the customer, the full picture of your customer, right? And the more data you have, and the more powerful AI models get with more data, and more sophisticated as these algorithms will get, the kind of insights that they can produce can become more and more useful and relevant. So I see this interesting amalgamation, which is going to happen naturally as a course of action between these generative AI models as well as these predictive AI models, with which the kind of experiences we can drive for the end customer or for the internal employees will be much more natural for them to have more trust in terms of what they're seeing from their AI. And of course, we have to bake in trust into these. That's a key thing as part of our overall strategy, and that's a key thing that we're doing, that your first-party data, your organization data with a level of trust and explanation and the combination of predictive AI and generative AI is helping you to guide into faster and better decision-making, right? That's a key thing that I see is going to really, really accelerate in terms of how we're thinking about the entire customer experiences over the next year or two coming. And that's a clear focus, as you must have heard, in terms of the announcements we're making with Einstein, and Einstein GPT being the next evolution of the Einstein as to how we're thinking about evolving the entire customer 360.
Yeah, I think 2023 has definitely been the rise of generative AI, but I think one of the big important trends, at least that we're starting to see, is there's going to be kind of a balancing, a settling of the balance between the different types of AI technologies and applications within an environment. We've been applying things like predictive AI inside of customer environments for a number of years. Generative AI is obviously something that everyone is figuring out the use cases and the applications of it within not only your organization, your company, but how you interact with your customers as well. So one of the things I think that we're going to see in terms of a trend is really a balancing of quality over quantity. I think everyone right now is racing to figure out to fill the bucket with as many generative AI use cases that they can get to market, but understanding which of those use cases have lasting power to drive your business forward, those quality use cases, that still is yet to be determined in a lot of environments, and that will be worked out. Narinder talked about the hyper-personalization of that customer experience. I think a lot of that is both driven by both generative and predictive AI. But the trick is, like Narinder was saying, is it's around governance and security. Customers are demanding that hyper-personalization with their vendors and the people they interact with, whether it's a retail or CPG or some other fashion. But the reality is they're also demanding security and privacy along with it. And so companies have to figure out not only how to land those quality use cases, but how to land that in a really secure and scalable enterprise way, that you know that the data that your company is holding to help drive those models and train those models is your company's data within the four walls of your organization, and it's not leaking out into other places. And I think that point right there is just critical for companies. And it's, quite frankly, it's one of the things that I think the partnership is so well balanced around AI. We had Salesforce here at an event that Google Cloud hosted in the area back in, I think, the end of May around our large AI day. And then I had a chance to go represent Google at Salesforce's event in New York a few weeks later that Mark Benioff spoke at. And the messages were so similar around secure and enterprise-grade AI for your organization. Not just flashy AI, not just AI that's here, that's got like pizzazz, but something that is actually enterprise-grade, secure, and controlled within your environment. And I think companies are still figuring that out. And I think that balance of quality over quantity, I should say, figuring out how to deliver those hyper-personalized experiences for customers, yet doing it within the framework of your governance model, that is something that I think Salesforce and Google Cloud are uniquely positioned to deliver for our joint customers, but it's something our joint customers are still having to figure out.
All right, well, want to thank our panelists today. Thank you so much for the great talk, and hopefully everyone has a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.